All right, there we are. And we're just going to welcome everybody to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. And I am going to get our music up. I picked out some things that I think, oh dear, I think I just closed that. That's all right. I'm glad you guys are all so patient. Metaphysicians. All right, let's see. I closed my email, and of course, the email was where I had all of the songs. All the songs we're doing today. So here we go. Here's what I'd like to get on.
Okay.
So I'm going to, oops. I'm going to share it. There is some video, so I'm going to go ahead and share the entire screen with you because it's kind of pretty. And I'm sure you'll know who this is. This is Ricky Byers, Beckwith. I don't know, she's not Beckwith anymore, I shouldn't say that. But here we go. Can you hear it? Can you all hear it? You know why you can't hear it? Because I didn't share the song, and that might be helpful. All right. Try that again. Sorry about this, guys. I'm usually more prepared than this. I didn't hit share sound. My bad. Hear it?
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around me. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Share
Yeah, let's do that. I love that he had everybody in there. Or Holmes, Lincoln, Gandhi. Even had Dorothy and from the Wizard of Oz in there with the red shoes and the yellow brick road. So yeah, let's live in a holy, holy way. Welcome everybody. Yeah, it's just so good to be here with you all this morning. Oh, Nan is here. Hello, Nan. I was just thinking as we were doing the music, well, I haven't seen Nan, and there she is. So welcome. And Lissa, bless her sweet heart, is going to be our practitioner of the day. She's filling in for Relaine and Jim, who we are holding and knowing
Yes.
find that they are whole, complete, and perfect, and everything is moving in divine right order. And so, but I am delighted to have you. So I am going to hand it over to you, sweetie. You take it away.
Okay. First of all, I think that song was just perfect for what I had been thinking about in relation to this title. The whole concept of navigating the streams of life, so to speak, the challenges and so forth, and how we do it, and what I have in my life had issues with change. It's kind of like I got habituated to seeing change as being bad, no matter what it was. And I know that it was habituated by the attitude that I took whenever we had to move, because we moved a lot when I was a child. And so it's something that I've worked on and did a lot of journaling about. And then something was brought together for me today, was just in terms of the whole thing of using our practice, our prayer and our meditation, in essence, to create the space that allows us to more graciously deal with a change that may be unexpected and not necessarily one that you would instantly think was happy. But it's also, change can bring great things, because we tend to look at the lack sometime of change rather than the possibilities that reside within change. And I think that by coming into that greater space of being one with God, and always knowing and developing that trust that says, after the first shock, perhaps, that everything is going to work out fine, and that you have this creative support, that you who are God, but also that connection with the goddedness from which you came, that together you can do anything. That it's calling on that part that is within you, that is more than just your personality. But I think that we know change is constant, but we talk about vibration, and the vibration of being able to, and when you feel it, when you feel this is the right thing, this is how I should deal with this. And so I think that by doing our practice, our daily practice, that then when something that's challenging arises, that we're able to more quickly come into that vibration that gives us that sense of, I can handle this, and now just show me the way. And I was listening to something where Reverend Michael was talking about dealing with change, and and he described these stages as the first one being survival. Our first, that is one. He says also, I think that, again, getting the water image of that circling pond that occurs when you throw a stone in it, that it's like these are not linear necessarily. They can happen in terms of at any point. But anyway, survival would be the first level, adaptation would be the second, and then transformation would be the third. And then dissolution, he said, was the fourth, was when you totally let go of whatever was the negative side of it. And so it's kind of like to live in that space of holy, holy, of that transformation is your goal. If it is, if you aren't already there, but anyway, that transformation is your goal. And therefore you would look at everything that comes up as something to practice your skills on. That's that sense of being able to shift gears, to be able to say, okay, this looks this way, but then over here I know that this is it. It's that thing that we do when you shift, that you move into the positive side. From you get the reverse. If you're in the negative, you bring up that affirmation for the positive. Like if you say, if you're feeling fear, it's like you then put on your cloak of courage and begin your own inner conversation. And because I think that a lot of life is talking to yourself and telling yourself, now wait a minute, this is not the end. I may be feeling fear, but I know that courage lives within. And so I can do affirmations that will bring me back to that space that I need to have to handle whatever is coming up. So I think that, it's just, I guess I'm just saying that we practice our tools. And it's good to practice the tools just on little stuff every day, so that when the big stuff comes, you already know what you're going to do. And so the big stuff doesn't seem so big anymore. And, I was realizing for myself that I personally would like to just pay more attention to the little things in life that happen. For example, constant bombardment. You just try to answer your phone. There's constant bombardment from the negative things that happen to be happening in our country. And it's kind of like really needing to gird yourself to be in another space and to deal with what you may have to deal with, but to be able to get into neutral. I mean, I find that I get whacked with something and then I pull back and say, this is not the truth, and am able to settle down. And I'm finding that those things are bothering me far less and less each time that they come up. But so I guess that but the other thing is being able to know when I'm not going to be sending these negative things that I get to anybody else. That it's a question of working with my own self to get into that space of more of living more with the presence and knowing the presence is there, and the divine joy that lives in the presence, and finding things that are fun to do. But I guess that's it. I have sort of been garbled, and I apologize for that. But at any rate, why don't we pray? So I'm really grateful that we're gathered together to celebrate the divine presence that is never absent and animates all life in the earth, the sea, and the heavens, all that is seen and unseen. And each time we're together strengthens our bonds of oneness as a force for good, for all we dream, for a world that works for everyone in a spirit of love, compassion, and peace. I speak my word today for our capacity to navigate the tides of life with deep trust and conviction that life is for us and always with us. We celebrate our ability to clear any false beliefs or fears that slow us from our knowing that God is always on our side and happiness now is the boat. With prayer and meditation, we can create that inner consciousness that allows us to see possibilities rather than fear or pain when change appears. And so I release my word into the law with great thanksgiving that we have the power of this philosophy to accompany us on this journey of life that leads us ever closer to our consciousness of oneness. And so I release my words by saying, and so it is. Okay, the affirmation. The comfort of the spirit come into the stillness of my heart. Peace, like an ocean of infinite life, reflects itself through me and calms every turbulent feeling. I am at peace and rest in the knowledge of the all good which is at hand. That's our old friend, Ernest Holmes.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that you don't need to apologize. You were very clear. You gave a very good introduction to what I'm going to be talking about today.
Oh, good.
That it was perfect, actually.
Okay.
So I have another song here that's actually a video too. I've got some videos today. And this one is our old friend Daniel Nahmod with a guy that he works with a lot, Patel, his last name, I can't remember his first name. It'll say Nemo Patel. So anyway, here they are. Oops, can you hear? Oh, wait.
Blessed to be with you today on October 2nd to share a song that means a lot to us and deeply rooted in Gandhiji's message of nonviolence and how we all can be an instrument of love and peace. So we want to share with you a song called Instrument of Peace.
I've got my human moments when I'm less than myself. Not my favorite thing to own it, that I could use a little help. No, I may not get it perfect, but I'm trying to reach a higher place. Kinda think my boy deserves it, not to mention the human race. I'm tired of confrontation. Everybody's choosing sides, are all ready for a new solution. So today I will decide, falling short a million times, been part of the problem more than I care to recognize. But I'm making up my mind this time. Where there is hatred, I will be love. Where there is conflict, I'll be peace. I will be hope when there's despair. I will be faith when it's just not there. Where there is darkness all around, I'll be the light for all to see. I know it won't always be easy, but let me be an instrument of peace.
Lord, let me be an instrument of peace. Let me be a servant of the good while down on my knees. Let me be a quiet channel for your love to be. Let me be an instrument of peace. Please let me be the cool breeze when the summer is hot, a smiling face in the corner when our friends are not, a spark of inspiration, Lord, when the going gets tough, a piece of bread to be fed when the times are rough. Let me be a bridge of peace for people to walk on, the one to take the insults when people keep talking. I know it's hard to be full of love when feeling exhausted, but when our hearts are pure, Lord, it feels so awesome. May I be of silent service when the ego is loud, and realize that I'm nothing when in front of a crowd, cause I was born with nothing in my hands and leaving without. So Lord, please let me give myself without even counting. 1, 2, 3.
Where there is hatred, I will be love. Where there is conflict, I'll be peace. I will be hope when there's despair. I will be faith when it's just not there. Where there is darkness all around, I'll be the light for all to see. I know it won't always be easy, but let me be an instrument of peace. Let me be. Let me be. Let me be an instrument of peace. Yeah. Let me be. Let me be. with empty hands, 'cause what I have is not to keep, it's more for me to set it free. And when I do, it finds its way to shine a light on someone's day, to touch a heart, to heal a pain, 'cause this is how a life can change.
Where there is hatred, I will be love. Where there is conflict, I'll be peace. And I will be hope when there's despair. And I will be faith when it's just not there. And where there is darkness all around, I'll be light for all to see. You know it won't always be easy, but let me be an instrument.
If I could give a hug when the anger is deep, think love instead of hate when I've just been cheated. Be ready to smile when in life the moments are bleak, and hold my faith strong when I'm being defeated. Realize that this life and body's not mine. I'm on this planet for a moment, this one moment in time. I'm just a hollow instrument that's meant to be shining light through your love, a small instrument of peace.
An instrument of peace, yeah. An instrument of peace.
I really like that. They seem like they're having a really good time. I love that. Oh, so here we are again. Back to our group. I'm gonna let me change my view so that I can put it on the speaker view there. There we go. Oh, good morning, you lovely people. I'm so glad you're all here today. It really does make me happy. So good morning and welcome to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. I always have to say that. And I always have to say, whether you're joining us in real time or replay, you know, I'm just pleased that you're connecting with us. And here's my intention for our service, for the people that are on real-time Zoom and for anybody that listens to the replay later, is that if you take anything away from today's service, I would love for it to be the realization that you are this brilliant, magnificent, empowered expression of the divine presence, and that nothing can or will ever change that reality. Nothing. You are infinitely divine. And to be able to feel and experience that is what it's all about. So welcome to everybody. Welcome to everybody. So last month, I focused a lot on the states of being that are in alignment with and support us in connecting with the divine presence that I was just talking about. You know, and these are states of consciousness that are in harmony with the divine truth. Last month, I spoke a lot about oneness, or oneness with life and with God, and you know, which is a state of being. I spoke about mindfulness, also a state of being, and living in a state of compassion, a state of being that not only cares for ourselves, but also cares for others, you know, and we hold that space for ourselves and for others. And as we do that, you know, we can express, we can be present in whatever's going on with us, whatever's happening in our lives. So let me see. What do I want to talk about this morning? Let me get this up here. So I just want to focus more on being kind of practical this morning than talking about just the states of being that we've been talking about for the last month. And which brings us, of course, to today's topic, which is navigating the tides of life. Lissa spoke to that so nicely earlier on. You know, and navigating the tides of life as metaphysicians, we understand that we're these expressions of the one life of God. And we understand that when we move into alignment, into those states of being that I was talking about, within the mind of God, the aspects of God that we want to experience in our life, creative law will make sure our experience correspond to these states of consciousness, to these states of being. And as Lissa also said, she did such a great job of kind of laying the groundwork. We live in a world that often tells us something completely different from what we know to be possible in God. So how we practice living from these basic principles until they become the pattern of our thinking and feeling and being is extremely important. Even when we experience things that seem in total contradiction to the nature of God. So how do we stay connected to our source in a world that can feel so disconnected? How do we navigate the tides of life, grounded in the spiritual principles that Science of Mind teaches? Well, what I'd like to do is to look at these questions through the practice of affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment, which most of us, if we've been around Science of Mind for any time, are very familiar with this. And this method or approach to prayer incorporates all the basic spiritual practices and principles that we teach. And of course, they're not exclusive to Science of Mind. They're universal spiritual principles. They're ancient. Actually, they're infinite, But I want to start with this practice because it's so incredibly practical. It's user-friendly and applicable in every human situation, every circumstance, every event that we will encounter. And affirmative prayer doesn't do anything to God. It changes us, which makes it so practical for us to engage with, to move into alignment with the vibration of the aspects of God that we want to draw into our lives. And I don't know about you, but with everything that is going on in our world right now, it's easy for me to want to just kind of retreat from all the fear-based thinking that I encounter, to just kind of go within and ignore what's going on. And that's kind of understandable, But I've also spoken to you about how I have retreated from social media and the news and other places where I feel that kind of collective consciousness of fear. But here's the difference between just retreating to ignore what's happening in the world and just taking a hiatus from the social media and the news and what lots of people are talking about, which generally is kind of fear-based, I've been doing it to reestablish myself in who I am in God and in who we all are in God, to establish a consciousness that is grounded in spiritual truth, to go to cause, basically. Consciousness first, demonstration second. But it doesn't mean that I'm being passive. These are the times when we're called to actively plant the seeds of change in our own consciousness, to know love and peace and abundance and vitality and connection. We did this in our meditation this morning. And to search out any place within us, any place within ourselves, which isn't in alignment with these things. What's that old saying? Well, whatever can be revealed can be healed. If I acknowledge that these things are there, then I can transform them and move into a deeper sense of love, peace, abundance, and all those things that we want to align with. And then we can take action in the world where we're called to do so, We go within, and then we can be in the world, but not overcome by the prevailing feeling of fear. So then we can act out of what is possible in God and not just react to what's already been demonstrated. Then we can know that every act of kindness counts. That every drop of blood that we donate saves a life. That every smile we share uplifts a heart. That every kind word we say brightens somebody's day. You know, that every door we hold helps, that every prayer we utter makes a difference. You know, we're grounded in spiritual truth. When we are grounded in spiritual truth, we know that every act of kindness and every bit of love we share makes the world a better place. And the practice and the process of spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer is an active practice. It helps us show up in these positive ways, you know, and truly it can be like this balm to our soul, you know, in what feels like a very unsettled world. You know, one of the most, in my opinion, intuitively wise, and I would really say brilliant things that our founder, Ernest Holmes, did was to clearly articulate a process for prayer. You know, one that is not only transcendent, but it's also very practical. It's a process that can certainly be used in all of our quiet moments of inner contemplation and inner prayer, meditation. But you know what? It can also be a template for being in the world as we move through our daily lives. I'm looking for Holmes's quote here. Ernest Holmes, so he has a whole thing on prayer. If you want to look in the Science of Mind, I'm sure most of you have. He wrote this: prayer is constructive because it enables us to establish closer contact with the foundation of wisdom. I'm assuming the foundation of wisdom is the presence of the divine, God, Spirit. And we are less likely to be influenced by appearances around us when we're established in that place and in those states of being that I was talking about. And then he writes, righteous prayer sets the law of the spirit of life in motion for us. Let me read that again. I stumbled over the words. Righteous prayer sets the law of the spirit of life in motion for us. Now, I'm not exactly sure what he meant by righteous prayer, but I'm guessing that what he means is sincere, authentic, connected connection with the divine. You know, in other words, affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment connects us with spirit in a way that builds our faith and our trust so that it can express naturally as we just live our lives. And then creative law will make sure that this intimate connection with spirit corresponds to our experience, to what we demonstrate. You know, we demonstrate the good of God when we are feeling it, when we know it, when we're resonating with it, when we're living it. So I was having this conversation the other day with someone who was kind of wallowing in negativity. And I was talking about how, to the best of my ability, I really try to remain for something and against nothing, as Ernest Holmes suggested we do. And you know, like I want to be for peace rather than railing against violence and war. Not that I wouldn't act if it was necessary, but I want to be for abundance rather than trying to fix lack. And, you know, and this person's response was that they weren't being negative. They were just being realistic. They're a realist. And rather than push against this idea or argue the point, because when someone is really dug into their perspective, pushing rarely shifts anything. So instead, I just silently kind of acknowledged that within this person, there's a light that knows, you know, there is truth within them. And that I see that light and I see it expanding for them now, you know, for their highest and best good. And I connected with and I blessed their light. And I held a space of really deep compassion for them. And do you remember last week that I spoke about compassion as the recognition of what is, and at the same time holding the space for a greater expression of God for the person or situation or whatever it is? So I held that space for compassion. And, you know, and as I was doing that, the thought occurred to me that this person wasn't grounded in anything real at all. The negativity that they were wallowing in wasn't grounded in reality. By being a realist, they just meant that they were putting their faith and their belief in what had already demonstrated in effects, just because up until now, this had been their experience. And they called it real. They put their faith in lack and limitation and disease and confusion and division and not enoughness. They believed in the reality of effect. And they believed that they had to find a way to navigate through it all, to use their own human vision to find a better way, a way through an effect that at the level of consciousness isn't even real. It's just an effect that, and an effect can be transformed. And, I certainly don't want to negate or to ignore anyone's pain or suffering. We sit with it and we hold the truth for people. We sit in compassion with people that are suffering or in pain. But let's not make it any more real by believing in it and giving our faith to it. Being real is living in universal truth, connecting with, turning our thoughts and our feelings toward the power and the presence of spirit, of the cause of everything that exists. This is where our faith belongs. And this is what we are called to do in the very first step of spiritual mind treatment. We are called to be in a conscious state of connection with God, Spirit, the divine presence, to resonate. I love that you said that, Lissa, that you talked about vibration, to resonate at the vibrational frequency of love and peace and abundance and wholeness and joy. Whatever state of being you want to draw forward from the allness of spirit. That's what the first step invites us to do, to be there in the resonance of it, in our quiet moments of contemplation or as we're walking around. And then the second step of spiritual mind treatment is to draw ourselves into a conscious feeling of our unity with this divine presence, to know and feel our oneness with it. One of the things that I've been doing, one of the affirmations, I shared this in the meditation that I've been using a lot lately is, I think only the thoughts of God. I think only the thoughts of God. And it pulls me back, it draws me back into an atmosphere of truth. It frees me from that fear and worry and complaint and judgment. Because, as we're living in the world, it's easy to get swept away by everything we see, by the fear vibe, if you will, everything we see and we experience. But this affirmation kind of draws me back to truth. I think only with the thoughts of God. And I can say it wherever I am or in the middle of whatever I'm experiencing or whatever I'm thinking. It's powerful, both in my moments of quiet contemplation and when I get thrown off track by thinking and feeling as I'm moving through the day. And you don't have to use this affirmation. Use one that works for you. Use it to refocus yourself. Say, there's nothing to fear in God, or I see everything through the eyes of love, or whatever feels true to your heart. And I know a lot of you have these affirmations that you use. Sorry. The point is to relate to life from our divine identity, our divine connection, rather than just from our human identity, our ego self. And, I think this is the idea that St. Paul was talking about in his letter, because I looked this up. I thought, where does it say to pray ceaselessly? I couldn't remember if it was Jesus or St. Paul, but I found it in St. Paul's letter or epistle to the Thessalonians, when he said, rejoice always, pray without ceasing, and give thanks in all things. And I think he was just saying, hey guys, try to stay positive and cheerful no matter what happens. Stay connected to God's truth and pray all the time. Now, I don't think he meant to sit around and be quiet. He meant to hold the truth, to pray, to understand that the state of being that I am in right now is demonstrating itself in the world. and then to live in gratitude. I think he was telling us to watch where we're putting our attention, to put it in metaphysical terms. That's the practice. That is the practice. We establish ourselves in the presence, and then our practice expresses the presence in our life. So I'm going to take a drink of water here. There's a great story about a man who was visiting a friend who lived in the city. I really like this story. I thought this really made the point about putting your attention or tuning yourself to put your attention where you want it to be. So anyway, this guy's visiting a friend in the city, and he actually lived in the country, lived in the deep woods. And while he was visiting his friend in the city, they were walking downtown, you know, and all the hustle and bustle of a big city. And they were laughing and they were having a great time. And suddenly he stopped and he said, "Do you hear that?" And his friend said, "No, what?" And he said, "Listen." And all she could hear was the hustle and the bustle of the city, you know, the cars and the horns and the buses, all the things she was attuned to hearing, that she was in the habit of hearing. But her friend from the country, who was attuned to hearing the sounds of nature, smiled and did this. He pulled out a coin from his pocket and he said, "Watch." And he flipped the coin and he let it fall on the sidewalk. And it made that sound of a coin landing. You know what I mean? We've all heard it, that kind of silver tinkle. You know, we all know what it sounds like. And everyone in the radius of about 20 feet of them stopped and looked. They heard the coin. And then her friend, the guy from the country, went over and he picked up a nearby stone and he lifted it up, and underneath it was this small little cricket that was chirping and making a much louder sound than the coin had made. But nobody heard it. Only he heard it. He heard the cricket, which was much louder than the coin falling, because he was attuned to listening for those sounds of nature. The rest of the people weren't attuned to the sound of a cricket, but her friend from the country who lived in the woods, he heard it, and nobody else did. So, you know, what it did is it took someone who was open to hearing the cricket to be aware of it. So our practice then is to be aware of the presence of universal truth everywhere, in all things, even when it's not obvious. And practice then to attune ourselves to what is real. You know, to make a habit of seeing beyond what is right in front of us, to seeing what is possible in God, to resonate at that higher level, to be in those states of being, those states of consciousness that we talked so much about last month. You know, which leads us right into that third step of science of mind treatment, to speak our word. And honestly, here is where our practice of the presence makes itself really useful. You know, this is where law catches fire with our state of being. In the third step, we speak our powerful word. But our word is only as powerful as the faith and the conviction and the knowing of truth that backs it, of our resonating at the level of God. Oh, I got another Ernest Holmes quote. He talks about that too. And this one is from, not from the Science of Mind book, but from Living the Science of Mind. I've really been into Living the Science of Mind lately. If I can find it. I had everything all organized here and then I picked it up. Sorry about that. Oh, here it is. Here it is. It is. So here's what he said in the Living the Science of Mind. He wrote, everything that is consciously and subjectively embodied in our thinking. So what he's saying is everything we hold in our conscious mind, or that we're not even aware that we're holding, that is in our subjective mind, in our thinking tends to radiate an atmosphere, a vibration, a current in thought, an inward acceptance, which automatically attracts to itself that which is like itself. So whatever state of consciousness, whatever we're holding, whatever we're attuned to, whatever we've been practicing as our state of being, law will catch fire with that, and it will correspond to every experience we have. You know, we know that what we truly have faith in corresponds directly to what we experience in our lives. This is, metaphysics 101. So if I'm grounded in spiritual truth, then I'll demonstrate spiritual truth. Whether I'm holding these truths in quiet contemplation or whether I'm holding them as I'm moving through my day. Creative law is always listening. As Holmes puts it, it listens to the atmosphere or vibration of our thought and our feeling. This is the power of speaking our word into law. And of course, the last two steps of spiritual mind treatment or affirmative prayer, are kind of just like a bonus to the rest of the science of mind treatment. Gratitude, which in and of itself is a spiritual practice. You can just feel the power of gratitude, the oneness of gratitude. To be grateful feels free. It feels like we're supercharged. And the last step is to release with confidence and conviction what we have set into motion. And I'm going to share one more story because I think this really illustrates what I'm talking about by using affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment as a template to walk through our lives. Yes, it's great in quiet contemplation, but it works in the activity and the busyness of our day as well. So this is a story that's from Reverend Scott Aubrey. And he says, and I agree, we pray for qualities, not things and not outcomes. And this is what I mean when I say we pray to establish ourselves in God, in spiritual truths or principles. So Aubrey gives this example. He said a few years ago, when he lived in Los Angeles, I'm assuming this was a while ago, he said he needed to have his computer repaired. And he drove for an hour to get to the repair shop. You probably wouldn't have to do that today, so that was probably a while ago. So he dropped it off to be fixed. And a few days later, the shop called to say that it was ready. So he made the long drive back to the shop, and he said this time in heavy traffic. And when he got there, the clerk couldn't find his computer. And Aubrey said that it was a large operation with this big, huge warehouse full of equipment. And the clerk just couldn't find his computer. So he asked him to look again. And while he was searching in the warehouse, Aubrey began to pray. He began to do affirmative prayer. But he didn't pray for the guy to find his computer. He prayed that this place of business was immersed in divine order, quality of God. He affirmed that there was a perfect pattern and plan for the business's operation, the divine order of God, another state of being. He prayed for harmony and peace in the life of the clerk and everyone who worked there. He affirmed that their business was prospering in every way. He prayed for spiritual qualities. He planted seeds of truth in consciousness. He went to cause. And he said that after a few minutes, the clerk returned with his computer. Oh, how usual, right? So can you see how science of mind treatment can be a powerful spiritual practice? It awakens us to the presence of God that's always within us. Spiritual mind treatment brings God alive in our lives. It's always there, but it attunes us to its presence. It calls us to be in the oneness, to attune to that state of being, all of them that are always there. It's simply a matter of aligning with the presence and then allowing the potential of God to express in our daily lives through our practice, to allow the goodness of God to move through us. You know, this is how we change our lives. This is how we change the world. This is how we become individually and collectively agents of transformation. You know, this is, to go back to our talk title today, how we navigate the tides of life. This is how we do it. And so I just thought it would be kind of useful for us, because we're all so familiar with spiritual mind treatment, to look at what Lissa was talking about, how we stay attuned or vibrate at that level of consciousness as we walk through our daily lives, which is sometimes where we can get knocked off track. So let's do some prayer. How about we do a spiritual mind treatment? So let's move into that connection. To know that the divine, the presence of the divine, first cause, life, the thing itself, all that is, the juiciness of life, whatever you want to call this animating force and presence that is life, that we all live, move, and have our being within it. We are these bright aspects living within the one life of God. We are just beautiful points of expression. So I speak my word for and about each of us. I speak my word confidently from that place of knowing who and what we all are, resonating with the level of love and peace and wholeness and joy, beauty, wisdom, intelligence, all of these wonderful aspects that we swim in this one life of God. I speak my word from here with conviction and faith and a knowing that we are empowered to bring it forward by attuning ourselves to these realities, to this reality of the divine, which is our reality. So I just know that everything that we experience in our humanness corresponds with these states of being, corresponds with the truth of who we are in God. And that we experience this newness, this freshness, and that if something bubbles up that doesn't look like one of the aspects of the divine, then we look at it, we hold it, we forgive ourselves for it or others for it, and we transform it through the power of love, through the power of God. What is revealed, we can heal. So in knowing this and knowing who we are and what we are about in this human life, which is to love and be loved, I just say thank you. Thank you for the presence and the power of God that is within and around and as all life. And I speak these words with compassion for those that may not yet know, because we know there is a part of them that does and will. So for this and so much more, I simply say thank you. I allow it to be, and together we say, and so it is. So it is. So it is. So I really hope that was helpful to think about doing signs of mind treatment, just as we live on. It doesn't have to be, just a once and done in the morning, just to draw us back into that state of awareness. And like I was saying, I've been using that affirmation. I think only with the thoughts of God, because that keeps me on track. Oh my goodness. So, let's see, Rob, are you doing, what? I think I am. I think Lissa was supposed to do, and then Relaine, and then I knew she wasn't gonna be here, so anyway, so I will do the conscious giving, you know, that thing we do every week. So I am going to invite you all to give, because you know what, One Heart, One Mind could use some financial support. And we have been doing our spiritual mind treatment and setting seeds in cause. And we know that a flood of financial abundance is going to come flooding in from channels known and unknown, because God is the source. Because we want to be able to continue to do these, and you know, we always will be, I think, for at least many years to come. So the way that we give, or we can give, is through Venmo, which most of you do. I'm always listening for that ding. I can hear it on my phone. Or to send send your letter to my address, because we weren't getting enough mail in the paid for mailbox to really make it worth our while. And it's right here, and my mailbox is safe. So so you can send it to One Heart, One Mind, care of me, at the address there on Idaho. And if you need to know it, just pop me a text and I'll make sure you get the address. But you probably already know it. And then we're going to say our affirmation, which I really like. And don't forget about unexpected income. I got some unexpected income the other day. I'm going to tell you about. So here's our affirmation for giving. Everything flows from the nature of God's good. We give and receive from this flow in gratitude and love. We rest in the infinite giving nature of spirit. And so it is. So that's that. The announcements that I have are Monday evening prayer group. That'll be tomorrow evening. And then this Tuesday, we're going to do chapter 3, but we've already kind of discussed the principles of it, which we decided that he could have said in about half of the words that he used. But we're going to do a little spiritual practice around it and just do some kind of experiential stuff with the ideas that were presented in chapter 3, which is always fun. I always enjoy doing that. It's kind of grounds it, you know, in us. And I did want to mention, it's not for a while, but as you all know, we belong to the Power Interfaith team, and heaven knows why, but I felt called to do it, so I guess that was a good reason. I volunteered to be the committee chair for the spring event that they're doing. And what me and the committee decided to do is we are going to do an interfaith prayer gathering. It's called The Essence of Prayer: Insights Through Interfaith. And it's going to be at St. Bartholomew's in Poway on May 4th in the afternoon from 3 to 5. And we're gathering people. I have I don't have a Hindu. I have a Buddhist nun, a Jewish rabbi, an imam, a Muslim imam, a Catholic priest. I invited the pastor or the reverend from St. Bartholomew's, haven't heard back. A Baha'i, a man who is in the Baha'i faith. A Sikh woman, it was a man, Amardeep. So we have like about 7 or 8 different spiritual traditions that are going to explain to us. I only gave them about 8 minutes, so it's going to be quick. To explain to us their perspective of prayer, who they pray to, why they pray, you know, how they present themselves in prayer, and then to offer us, in their particular faith tradition, a prayer for world peace. So all of these spiritual traditions will be coming together to pray for world peace. And I'm going to take about 3 or 4 lines from each of their prayer and weave them together. And so at the end of the gathering, we will do a collective prayer for world peace, because I really think we need to pray right now. So anyway, heads up, that's happening. And it should be really fun. And it's just going to be, you know, coffee, tea, cookies, no big thing. But it'll be in the sanctuary at St. Bartholomew's on that day. And I'll put something in the newsletter about it. But so I just wanted to give you a heads up about that early on so you could save the date. So, so I guess that's about all we really have to say.
Prayer circle.
Prayer circle is, I think I put it in the newsletter. It's this week, right? The first, yeah, okay. And I'm sure that Relaine will be feeling up to that. You know, it's really a matter of her getting Jim stabilized and what have you. So prayer circle, and I guess that's about it. So let's just know together for the benediction, let's know together that we live in an atmosphere of God, that we practice every minute, every second, every now to attune ourselves to hearing the sound of that cricket, to hearing the sound of the divine voice in and through everything we experience, through our lives, you know, in those moments of quiet meditative prayer and in those loud, boisterous moments, we're in the middle of the hustle and the bustle of life. We always attune ourselves to the thoughts in the mind of God. And they become, as Holmes told us, the atmosphere of our thoughts, the vibration of our thoughts that impress law and express themselves in and through and as our lives and the collective life of humanity. So we just know that together. We know peace. And we know that we are not swayed by what has already demonstrated. What is that wonderful line we always say in Science and Mind? The past has no precedent. It does not determine the what's next. What determines the what next is where we put our attention and where we resonate with the divine presence of who we already are. So for this, I just say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for empowering us to create, to transform, to heal, to be one with. So we just relax in this knowing, and together we say, and so it is. And thank you for the service, all of it. That too. And I have one last music thing, which I really like. I hope you like it as much as I do. Let's get it up here. And this is Daniel again, but this time just by himself. And this is an oldie but goodie. I was going to say this, you played this at Tom's Memorial, but I think you did Constant Is My Prayer. Maybe you did this one. I don't know. I know you did one, Daniel Nabob, for his service. There we go.
When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Right here.
Oops, sorry. Oh man. I don't know what happened. Let me pause it and start it. Wait a
Right
minute.
now,
No, it's not showing.
right where I am.
It's going to work. Everything is going to be fine. It's going to play now and finish up. There we go. Can you hear it?
Right here,
Can you hear it?
right
Girl.
now,
Yes.
right where I am.
Hang on a minute. Just going to close it and start it again. I was having a little bit of a glitch. I have my Ethernet cord on, so it should work, but I did notice earlier that it was a little glitchy. Can you hear that?
When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God.
Well, I thought that would be a good way to end our talking about prayer and spiritual non-treatment. So I did not put us to Facebook today because my internet seemed to be glitchy, but I did record it. So I will upload the video to our YouTube channel, and I should put the link on Facebook as well, even though I didn't stream it. It was, I don't know what, some days my internet just, it doesn't cooperate. So we're going to say goodbye to our recording right